Americans refuse to buy EVs. Why? During an age characterized by growing concern for ecological sustainability and advancements in technology, the extensive implementation of electric vehicles, EVs, represents a critical milestone in the effort to mitigate carbon emissions and facilitate the shift towards a more environmentally friendly future. Notwithstanding the indisputable advantages of electric vehicles, EVs, a considerable portion of the American populace continues to exhibit reluctance towards transitioning from traditional gasoline-powered automobiles. This hesitancy to adopt electric vehicles raises a fundamental inquiry. What are the reasons behind the American public's refusal to purchase EVs? The response to this inquiry is intricate, comprising a dynamic interaction between pragmatic factors, psychological obstacles, and cultural conventions. The reluctance of Americans to adopt electric vehicles, EVs, can be attributed to a wide variety of factors that influence consumer behavior. These factors include cultural allegiances to gasoline-powered vehicles, concerns regarding range anxiety, limitations in charging infrastructure, and perceptions of EV performance. This investigation examines the factors that contribute to the reluctance of Americans to adopt electric vehicles, EVs, and contemplates the ramifications for the future of transportation and sustainability initiatives in the country. By gaining insight into the fundamental incentives and obstacles that impact consumer decision-making, we can establish a foundation for approaches and undertakings that seek to expedite the extensive integration of electric vehicles, EVs, and inaugurate an epoch of environmentally friendly and energy-efficient transportation. Here is an exhaustive investigation. 1. Range anxiety. Range anxiety continues to be a substantial impediment to the extensive deployment of electric vehicles, EVs, by consumers in the United States. The apprehension regarding depleting battery power prior to reaching a destination endures in spite of battery technology advancements. Concerns are exacerbated by the widespread perception that the charging infrastructure is insufficient, especially for long-distance travel. The limited availability of fast-charging facilities. Despite ongoing endeavors to expand the charging network, prospective purchasers continue to be dissuaded by the perception of inadequate infrastructure. A comprehensive strategy encompassing infrastructural development, consumer education, and technological advancements is necessary to mitigate range anxiety and promote wider adoption of electric vehicles, EVs, in the United States by instilling confidence in their dependability and convenience. 2. Charging system architecture. Despite notable advancements, the proliferation of charging infrastructure for electric vehicles, EVs, remains inadequate in comparison to the extensive accessibility of petroleum stations, thereby impeding the widespread adoption of EVs. Ongoing apprehensions regarding the availability of charging stations, particularly in sparsely populated or rural regions, exacerbate concerns regarding inconvenience and range constraints. Furthermore, the extended charging durations of electric vehicles, EVs, in contrast to the rapid refueling capabilities of gas-powered vehicles, discourage prospective purchasers. Although endeavors are being made to expand the number of charging stations and enhance charging technology, consumer decisions are still influenced by the perception of lengthier charging times and inconveniences. In order to tackle these obstacles, it is imperative to sustain investments in the expansion of charging infrastructure, with a specific focus on marginalized areas. Simultaneously, progress in fast-charging technology must be made to aid in the wider adoption of electric mobility. 3. Cost and affordability. The declining expenses associated with electric vehicles, EVs, propelled by advancements in technology and government incentives, have improved the level of affordability for the general public. Nevertheless, the substantial initial investment, in contrast to conventional gasoline-powered automobiles, continues to be a substantial impediment to widespread adoption. Although prospective cost reductions on fuel and maintenance are appealing in the long run, cost-conscious purchasers may be dissuaded by the initial investment, particularly if they lack access to incentive programs. Notwithstanding advancements in affordability, this discrepancy in cost endures, impeding the progress towards extensive implementation. Ongoing research to reduce manufacturing costs and additional incentives to make EVs economically viable for all consumers are measures taken to rectify this disparity. Stakeholders can expedite the adoption of electric mobility and promote a more sustainable transportation ecosystem by addressing concerns related to cost. 4. Perceived performance and utility. Notwithstanding the progress made in technology, certain consumers continue to harbor doubts concerning the performance and practicality of electric vehicles, EVs, in comparison to conventional vehicles. Frequently, concerns revolve around aspects such as the vehicle's acceleration, towing capacity, and overall driving experience. EVs may provide remarkable acceleration due to their instant torque delivery, but those acclimated to internal combustion engines remain skeptical. Particularly in pickups and SUVs, limitations in towing capacity and the scarcity of electric vehicle models discourage prospective purchasers in search of specialized capabilities. To tackle these concerns, continuous innovation is necessary to improve the performance of electric vehicles and increase the number of models available. By rectifying misunderstandings and demonstrating the advanced functionalities of electric vehicles, stakeholders have the ability to enhance consumer trust and stimulate greater uptake of environmentally friendly modes of transportation. 5. Dearth of education and awareness. A substantial impediment to the extensive integration of electric vehicles, EVs, into the consumer market is the absence of education and awareness among individuals. A considerable number of individuals have a restricted comprehension of electric vehicle, EV technology, which results in erroneous beliefs regarding critical elements including battery life, environmental footprint, and overall dependability. The dissemination of false information or the lack of precise data concerning electric vehicles, EVs, may foster doubt or resistance towards adopting the technology. In order to effectively tackle this matter, it is imperative to implement all-encompassing educational initiatives that aim to debunk misconceptions and furnish accurate information regarding the advantages and functionalities of electric vehicles. By augmenting consciousness and comprehension regarding electric vehicle, EV technology, stakeholders have the ability to enable consumers to make well-informed choices, thereby promoting increased adoption and recognition of EVs as a sustainable mode of transportation. 6. Cultural attachment to gasoline vehicles. Within the framework of American culture, automobiles possess deep symbolic importance, serving as embodiments of ideals such as individualism, autonomy, and freedom. A considerable number of consumers possess sentimental investments in the visual, auditory, and experiential aspects linked to gasoline-powered automobiles. The nostalgia associated with gasoline, the audible sound of an engine, and the physical exhilaration of acceleration all contribute to a cultural sentiment that presents some individuals with a difficulty in making the transition to electric vehicles, EVs. To surmount this attachment, it is imperative to acknowledge and confront the sentimental ties that are entangled with gasoline-powered vehicles, while emphasizing the distinctive merits and advantages that electric vehicles present with regard to performance, sustainability, and innovation. 7. Infrastructure constraints. The limited availability of infrastructure presents a substantial barrier to the extensive integration of electric vehicles, EVs, specifically for apartment dwelling or older households. The absence of designated parking spaces and appropriate infrastructure to accommodate residential charging stations poses a significant obstacle for electric vehicle, EV ownership. The absence of easily accessible charging infrastructure undermines the practicality and convenience of electric vehicle ownership, thereby discouraging prospective purchasers from adopting electric mobility. And urban planning initiatives that prioritize EV-friendly infrastructure development are required to address these infrastructure limitations, supporting the transition to sustainable transportation options. And facilitating wider access to EVs can be accomplished by stakeholders who are able to overcome these obstacles. 8. Political and regulatory factors. Consumer perceptions of electric vehicle, EV, adoption. Political and regulatory factors exert significant influence on consumer attitudes towards EV adoption. Changes in infrastructure investments, incentives, emission standards, and government policies and regulations can have a substantial effect on consumer confidence and purchasing behavior. Prospective purchasers might exhibit reluctance due to the ambiguity surrounding forthcoming policies, specifically with regard to incentives for electric vehicle acquisitions and investments in charging infrastructure. Unambiguous and consistent governmental backing, encompassing enduring incentives and resilient infrastructure development strategies, is critical for promoting trust and expediting the extensive integration of electric vehicles, EVs. 9. Resale value and depreciation. Apprehensions regarding depreciation and long-term resale value. Certain consumers may be dissuaded from transitioning to electric vehicles, EVs, due to concerns regarding their depreciation and long-term viability in comparison to conventional vehicles. Potential purchasers may view electric vehicles, EVs, with skepticism as a result of the uncertainties surrounding battery longevity and technological progress, which render them a riskier investment. Despite the fact that EV depreciation rates have slowed due to technological advancements and increased market acceptance, residual concerns remain regarding their resale value. Transparent information regarding the dependability of electric vehicles, EVs, the performance of their batteries, and the trajectory of resale value is necessary to allay consumer apprehensions and illustrate the EV's viability as a long-term investment. 10. Psychological barriers. Prominent determinants of consumer behavior with respect to the adoption of electric vehicles, EVs, are inertia and resistance to change. Despite the persuasive case for electric vehicles, EVs, certain consumers continue to exhibit reluctance in switching from the conventional and comfortable option of gasoline-powered vehicles. Consumer reluctance is exacerbated by widespread familiarity with internal combustion engine vehicles and apprehensions regarding the technology and infrastructure of electric vehicles. To surmount this inertia, it is imperative to implement focused initiatives that educate consumers regarding the advantages of electric vehicles, EVs, debunk misunderstandings, and offer adoption incentives. Promoting the benefits of electric vehicles, EVs, and addressing psychological barriers are strategies that stakeholders can employ to facilitate a more seamless transition towards sustainable transportation solutions. Accelerating the widespread adoption of electric vehicles in the United States will require continued technological advancements, infrastructure investments, consumer education campaigns, and supportive government policies to address these concerns. In conclusion, while electric vehicles, EVs, offer a promising solution for sustainable transportation, several barriers hinder their widespread adoption in the United States. Range anxiety, charging infrastructure limitations, cost concerns, and cultural attachments to traditional vehicles all play significant roles in shaping consumer attitudes toward EVs. However, concerted efforts to address these challenges through infrastructure development, consumer education, technological advancements, and policy support can pave the way for a more sustainable and electrified transportation future. By working collaboratively to overcome these obstacles, stakeholders can accelerate the transition to electric mobility, reduce emissions, and create a cleaner and more resilient transportation ecosystem for future generations. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.